thanks for staying with us. So the hottest topic today, obviously, is the UTME results. The 2025 UTME results have sparked widespread outrage, with over 1.5 million candidates scoring below 200, raising questions about the state of our education system and its future. Now, candidates are rejecting the 2025 UTME results released by Jamb, claiming they don't accurately reflect their abilities and hard work. Many students have taken to social media to express their dissatisfaction, using hashtags like "this is not my result." Some have even shared their previous scores, which were significantly higher, to highlight the discrepancy in the result. So there was an example: a young lady had 285 in the previous year's UTME. Now she was shocked to have 156. So joining us in the studio to dissect this burning issue is the Chief Executive Officer of Educare, Mr. Alex Onya. Also, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to have you in the studio. Also joining us is a spokesperson for Jamb, Dr. Fabian Benjamin. Is in our Abuja studio. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. So before we come to you, Dr. Fabian, I'm going to first discuss with the ladies to discuss what they've heard, because I know that Jamb has given an official response, which we'll also dissect and discuss with you in a moment. But let me come to you, sir, Mr. Onya. Given the responses online, the fact that many people were disheartened by the results, now on the backdrop of like many people actually wanted that CBT, we thought it was going to be the best futuristic approach to examination. So, in your view, what do you think went wrong, or do you think something went wrong at all?
Oh, yes. So a lot of things went wrong, actually. And so currently now I have 11,460 reports.
Wow.
From different students, yes. And probably by the time I'm done here, it'll probably be up to like 15,000.
Whoa.
So the point is, I've already studied the pattern.
Okay.
24th, 25th, 26th, and the 28th. Those people who wrote exam in those dates, their results are very bad. Okay. And I mean, in those, if you see in those dates, you also see a lot of teachers who wrote the exams. You see students like, for instance, someone scored 281 2 years ago. The same person scored 311 last year, and the person is scoring 164 this year. I mean, this is not practicable. This is a similar case to 11,460 students. Different kind of schools. I've spoken to a lot of schools. These are schools that create excellence in all kinds of jams for the past 30 years, and all of a sudden, the best student in school is scoring 170.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a major glitch in Jamb system. And so two things that I'm requesting for is, one is, because I've checked, there's actually no place in Jamb's policy that inhibits them from sharing the mark script. So we need these students to see their mark script. And secondly, they have to investigate these days, right? And for me, because this is a technical problem, of course, this is an area of my expertise, so we know how these things happen. Many of these Jamb officials may never understand how this happens. Probably it's through their vendor, right? So they have to fix this. So I don't believe 11,460 students can be this wrong. You know, they were very quick to release mass failure and all those blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I don't think we experience such number of failures in this year's Jamb.
So I feel like I think Jamb is not coming out to say exactly what happened with the examinations. And many students have seen, even their parents complain that when the kids go back home, they complain that sometimes the system will log you out, even while they were writing the exams. Somebody said she was logged out like 3 times. Another person I saw said like 2 times during the examinations. And even though she cross-checked her results, for a system to log her out while she was writing, it's possible that by the time they now took the results, they did not take everything that she had written. But Jamb is not telling us that the system actually has or came up with glitches. They had glitches during the examinations. Do you think that, or how do you think Jamb would come out and give us the exact reports? The people who handle the CBT centers, did they also give Jamb those sort of reports, or they are not aware?
Okay, we'll ask Jamb. Like, I want us just to discuss what we've heard, what stuff. I'm glad you've shared the story of somebody who spoke to you. Brian, let me come to you. Have you heard any stories before I come to Jamb?
Yes, I have heard stories, and I've heard of thousands of parents that have come together and are actually taking Jamb to court because they believe that, you know, that there was a serious problem technically with how the exams were conducted or graded. And for me, because of just the huge number, especially as you said, the few schools, and you're getting that large number, it shows that, yes, something may have gone wrong. Maybe Jamb is still not aware, but I think it's the time to now investigate what could have gone wrong. Last week I had read, you know, we already started lamenting these exam results, and Jamb had said that this is not new, it's a 12-year pattern. So that we've seen this number of failures for 12 years now. But I don't remember it being so, if it has been that bad for 12 years, how come we haven't had this sort of outrage or response to it? Why this particular year? So I think that has to also be investigated. So as you said, we have to go through the records. Let's go through the sheets, the mark sheets. How did it happen? BC, what you mentioned, so I've had parents, so a lot of children said that they will lock them, of course they had power outages, so it would lock them out and then they'll come back and they are not sure if that was, you know, was recorded. Now, thirdly, the only thing I may say also for those who said they've written it previous years and they did much better than they did this year, I don't know if that is a strong case though. I think that may, you know, for the students, because as we know, you know, sometimes you do better the first time around. So that one has a lot to do with how you prepared, you know. I don't know if that in particular, that particular...
You know, when a student prepares for an exam, I mean, you are once a student, you have a minimum expectation. So when a result doesn't reflect your effort, it is very clear. So if Jamb claims this has happened within the past 12 years, that means they have deployed an inefficient system within the past 12 years that have constantly destroyed a lot of children's career. Do you understand how important Jamb is to the life and the destinies of these children? We are going to write WAEC in the next month, right? The morale and the spirit of these children are extremely low. How can you spend several months to prepare for an exam just for Jamb's inefficiency to come and destroy all your effort? So this is where the problem is. So whenever I hear them speak or try to give those kind of references, it even exposes their inefficiency a lot more.
Okay, let me come to you before I can bring in Dr. Fabian.
Okay, so I'm surprised that you're, you know, comparing the effort of the students, because we used to read. I took several Jamb exams, and I remember I used to say, the result doesn't reflect it for the, you know, there was a language that we say, then give me, then fail me, because you know that you did your best. You went to the exams prepared. Sometimes you would expect, I never wrote a Jamb exam except for my first one, thinking I would get less than 300. But to get 200 those days, I have key cow, key goat, key everything. And it was supposed to be a standard. And now that even standards have dropped, because over years now they do UTME, the cutoff marks across boards. It's not like as equivalent as it was in our time. And now we're seeing this happen. It means that something as serious as a glitch in the system can affect a child's result. I'm just surprised. I have strong faith in Jamb. I believe that a lot of things have improved. I've said it on the show over and over. And so if there are technical errors like this, I have seen Jamb rewrite exams, redo exams. My cousin, I said it in Abuja, was made to resit her exams because of the score she had that year, because it seemed too high and it was too high for them, for an individual. So I know Jamb can redo an exam if this whole thing is too much to understand.
Okay, I'll come to Dr. Fabian from Jamb, but it's important for me to just read a few excerpts from the official press release from Jamb. So Jamb acknowledges the significant volume of unusual complaints following the release of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exam results, which were officially published last Friday. In response, the board is fast-forwarding its annual system review, a comprehensive post-mortem of the examination process that is conducted each year after the exercise. So they are going to do a post-mortem. The board said during the examination phase, Jamb ensures that every candidate is afforded the opportunity to sit the test. We're particularly concerned about the unusual complaints originating from the few states within the Federation, we are currently scrutinizing these complaints in detail to identify and rectify any potential technical issues. To assist in this process, we have engaged a number of experts, including professionals, computer professionals from the Association of Nigeria, chief external examiners who are heads of tertiary institutions, and someone network from Africa. A few other people are bringing people together to come and help us. So Jamb is responding. However, as much as what Mr. Onye said is really crucial, as much as I understand they're trying to rectify, but in case there was a glitch, this could actually be quite damaging and damage to the morale of these young people. So we need to find out how long would it take to rectify, because these guys are going to be writing WAEC very soon. But let me bring in Dr. Fabian to this conversation. Good morning, Mr. Dr. Fabian Benjamin. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
You've heard all that's been said so far, and we've read your press release. Before we go into the fact that you're investigating, I think BC asked something which I think was important. After the examination has taken place, do you get official reports from the various centers on issues of glitches, issues they could have had, maybe that could help to provide a comprehensive report going forward of exactly what happened at those centers?
Thank you very much. I quite appreciate TVC for this opportunity and the guests there. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board is one agency that is not averse to such inquiries and call. We run a very inclusive system where we conduct our examination. You will notice that we have over 10,000 officials in the field. Out of these 10,000 officials, barely less than, maybe barely 2,000 are the staff of the agency. We have vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts of higher institutions being part of this exercise. Computer Special Association, psychometricians, expert in measurement and stuff like that, just like you have read the roll call that you have called in the press release that I issued this morning. We are not ashamed to admit if we go wrong. But it's unfortunate at times we see people coming out with a kind of blanket condemnation and stuff like that. Yes, we have released results. We've had avalanche of complaints from very few states. And what are we doing about it? We're going to do something. We're looking at it. And wherever, if we find anything untoward, we will not hesitate to actually apply the necessary remedy to this situation. If you look at our processes, starting from registration, examination, and release of result management, what I call result management, at the point of examination, for 2025, we had over 882 centers, and over 200,000 computers were deployed to be used by these candidates. And where there were glitches during the examination, those candidates were rescheduled. Because one key thing in our operation is fairness and equity. Integrity is also key. And that explains why where we go wrong, we don't hesitate to admit that, yes, there was an issue, and then we apply the necessary remedy. And the most important thing we do is that most of these things, we anticipate them, and they will make provision for remedies. For instance, during the examination exercise, we know that it will be erroneous for us to assume that there will be no challenge. And they will make necessary provision. Even from the point of registration of these centers, we ensure that, okay, the requirement is for you to have 200 computers, but you must also have 25 as backup, because we know that there could be 1 or 2 challenges here and there during the course of the examination. And where a center fails completely for technical issues or one reason or the other, we ensure that those candidates are rescheduled immediately to take the examination. We will ensure that every candidate is given the opportunity to exercise his right. Fairness and equity must come to play. As you have read, or as I have said in that release, we are looking at the complaint from these states, majorly some few states in the southeast and perhaps Lagos. And these officials, these experts that we brought, we're opening our system to them to go in, to look at every responses that these candidates have given. And where there are sufficient reason for us to act, we will do the needful. We've done that in the past. The issue of subjecting our script for public scrutiny, we've done that severally. In 2012, if my memory does not fail me, we called candidates who came and marked their script themselves. We gave them the marking scheme. They mark their script themselves, score themselves, and they arrive at the same judgment and all those things. But that does not mean that what we're having this year, because we've never had this avalanche of complaints from candidates. And that explains why the registrar, Professor Shagoloide, is leading the team and is not taking it lightly and is going to look at it critically, and the needful will be done where necessary.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we have lots of questions for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We still have the spokesperson for Jamb with us, Dr. Fabian Benjamin. And I know Nima had a question. Go ahead.
We had gotten some reports of change in results. Is that part of this glitch we're talking about? So where a person, according to YK, someone had reached out to her. The person had gotten a result that he had about 155, its total aggregate result, and then got an aggregate result of about 200 and something again. What is the 299? Is it possible that a person was given a higher result and then they change it again? Didn't this happen last year, where last 2 years, where that young lady had published a result by SMS, and it was said that she fabricated the one for which she got the state recognition?
Sorry, I actually didn't get that very clear. But if I understand your question, you are asking if...
Can you hear? Let me put it again.
Say again.
One candidate in this last Jamb was sent 2 different results. One was 299, the other one was 150. You remember the lady that happened somewhere in the east, I think it's not Imo.
Mesoma.
Yes.
Okay, Mesoma.
Yes.
The Mesoma.
Was it not this kind of issue? Is it supposed to happen again? People are getting this kind of results now.
No. If you look at the avalanche of complaint, it's about candidate contesting what has given to them vis-a-vis their own abilities.
Yeah.
The issue of falsification, the issue of manipulation of scores, the issue of any infraction, either from our side or from their candidate, does not come into this complaint.
But this is the
majorly
case. This is the case of an infraction.
Majorly, the complaint were. Hello?
This is the case of an infraction from Jamb, sending 2 results out to one candidate.
There is no any issue of infraction here. Just as I've told you earlier, we cannot come to conclusion yet. We are looking at what it is. We are not saying there is an infraction on any part. We are only concerned by the volume of the complaint.
Okay.
We know that each year we release results. Certainly 1 or 2 persons will complain. But for this year, if you look at the mountain of complaints, especially coming from a particular section of the country, calls for concern. And that explains why we also want to look at it critically to see if there are
Fabian,
issues.
Because of time,
and then see how we can activate.
Because of time, we've gotten that part. The avalanche of complaints you're looking at it. What Nima is asking, within that complaint, somebody is also saying there's an infraction that they got 2 results. Have you got an official complaint from any candidate saying they got 2 results yet? And are you investigating that? That's her question.
Sorry, Abe, sorry, can you ask that again?
So you know what? Let me. I'll come back to that. Let me let other questions jump in.
Yeah, let me ask a question. So I would like to understand the sort of investigation Jamb is carrying out. Are you investigating the markings, the machine that is marking the script or that marked the script? Are you investigating the software of the machine? What exactly are you investigating? Because we are suspecting that this glitch that happened because many students were logged out for over how many minutes during the examinations is likely a machine software glitch. Now, if you're not aware that that is where the problem is coming from, you may be investigating, but not investigating the right thing. So what exactly is Jamb investigating? Which areas are you looking into to solve this problem?
Okay. Yes. You see, we are being transparent as possible. If you look at some of the narrative that have been pushed out there, if you talk about glitches, candidate being left out, or questions not being complete and all those things, you are rather pushing the burden on the candidate, because if you produce the script of the candidate and you say the candidate was unable to finish his exam because of the certain challenges at the center, what that means is that even when you produce the script and you mark the script, it's still going to give you the same response. But that is not what we are doing. There are stages of operations when it comes to result. We are looking at, we divided the country into 2 for ease of management.
Okay.
There's what we call LAC, there's what we call CAT. LAC is all the states in the south, excluding the South states. The South state, that is Port Harcourt Zonal Office and Benin Zonal Office, are joined to the states in the north that we call CAT. And the CAT states, we exclude Abuja and zonal office states within the Abuja zonal office, and then states within the Kano zonal office, which we merge them with the south. Why? The reason behind that is that so that we don't have only southern states or northern states being put together. Now, we have software that we are deployed for this particular division. And at these centers, we are looking at options that were deployed, matching them against the responses of this candidate. Could it be that the responses were matched wrongly against what the candidate has answered? Or could it be that this candidate were unable to finish their exam or for whatever reason or the other? There are so many things we are looking at that I cannot sit down here and begin to, because time will not permit. But what I want to assure Nigerians is that at the end of the day, we'll come out with a solution that at least will be fair, will be transparent enough, and will be equitable. I've made it clear that we are not ashamed. We will not be ashamed to admit that if actually we are wrong. We are not averse to criticism. One of the key word in our operation is inclusiveness. We tried as much as possible to bring as many possible as possible.
Okay.
And the operation we are doing, if you look at it, is devoid of even our operators. We are bringing people, external people, who will come. Over time, we've had situations whereby we invite even the FCCPC to come and take charge.
Let me
monitor whatever we are doing.
Dr. Fabian, let me pause you for a second, because I want Mr. Onya to come in here. You've heard from Jamb. Are you satisfied with the response as an educator yourself?
I'm actually not satisfied at all. One of the things I want to hear is there an exact time frame? Are you telling us that within the next 2 weeks, there will be a response? Can we build an expectation around whatever you are saying? And also, the people you are referencing that you want to for your investigation and this and that, I can't even see. I
have to pause you, I'm sorry, because I'm told that we have to cut off from the news channel to the live chat. There's an invitation to TV station for FCT Minister's Media Parley this morning. We'll be connecting the TVC News channel to that Media Parley with the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and their team right there. But those of you watching us, you can continue watching us online and also on our terrestrial channels on GoTV and StarTimes. But we'd like you to join us online on YouTube. But for those on the news channel, we have to connect to the Wike's Media Parley going on in Abuja. So you are saying concerning, yes, your response?
Yes. So what I'm saying is, even the people that he is referenced, I mean, they know how they do their thing. But the point is, this is an obvious technical glitch. And probably this is, you know, if you can remember when Boeing had their own issue, they subcontracted a software company, which subcontracted to another one and another Indian one. So there were a lot of crashes, right? Until when they started going deeply. Even Boeing itself denied it.
They didn't know.
Until independent investigators went so deeply to find out this is where the problem was. So from what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm into software. We've done this for the past 11 years, and we power a lot of schools. I mean, several millions of students. So I kind of understand where this is coming from. Probably the vendors they are working with, this is where the issue is, right? So they need to go deeply and say, okay,
you see, I'm sorry to come in. Sorry to come in here.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry to come here. I want to let me say this. I don't think we will go down so low to begin to do things that will appear as if we are doing a cover-up. Examination is a serious business, and it requires a lot of integrity, transparency, fairness, and equity. If you look at our operation over the time, we have never shied away from admitting that there are glitches, if at all there are. When the registrar assumed duty in 2016, and the first mock exercise he conducted, the flight could not take off. And we called the press, and we admitted that, yes, there are problems here and there and all these things. We believe that whatever we are doing is a progress in the making. So that explains why we take every view from everywhere, we incorporate it into what we are doing so that we can build a better system. It will be unfortunate if, as an agency, at this stage, and all we could sit down to do is to begin to look for a way to cover up if there are problems. We can't do that. I have believed that we have gone past that particular stage. And I'm assuring you that within the shortest possible time, we will come up with a position, and then we'll take a decision or if
Dr. Fabian, let me come in here
for any
sure.
remedial.
Dr. Fabian, what I heard him say is that it's almost similar to what Nima is saying. We need to be, or even BC, to be sure if you are clear on where the problem is. There could be technical issues, there could be collation issues, there could be marking issues there. So we want to be sure we are investigating and looking at the pinpoint. It's not about your integrity, because your integrity is not in question here.
It's a holistic investigation we are doing.
Okay.
I cannot preempt the committee. Already you are talking about the issue of integrity here. You want to have something that is very transparent and fair, something you can hold on to. So you wouldn't expect me to sit down here and tell you that this is what it's going to be. Let the people, the body that has been assembled, let them do what they are supposed to do, and then tell Nigerians where the problem is and come up with a remedial action if need be.
Okay. Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we can continue this conversation with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing Jamb and the UTME results. Dr. Fabian, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, so I'm going to get one more question for you. Go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, so Dr. Fabian, you know, initially when you were speaking, you said that the reason why you're looking into this was because of the response or the avalanche of, you know, complaints that you were receiving. And we're looking at the scores, just looking at the scores, we're seeing that 78.5% of those who wrote the exams, you know, scored below 200. Didn't that number just by itself, even before the complaints, didn't it raise questions for Jamb?
You see, first of all, you have to understand the purpose of a team before you will be able to dive into it to criticize or make an informed opinion. The examination we do is not a pass or fail examination, because I believe we need to really get this clear, because the public is making a lot of mistake when it comes to looking at the data, the statistics, in the sense that they view it. We are doing a selection examination for tertiary admission. It is not a reflection of the ability of the candidate. Because if we are doing aptitudinal examination, the aptitude examination is what is the reflection of the true ability of the candidate. What we do, we interface with this candidate for 2 hours. They have spent 6 years in the primary school, 6 years in the secondary school, and then they have 2 hours with us. You cannot begin to look at that 2 hours that they have interfaced with us and begin to use it as a measure of standard. So for us, we don't look at it from the angle of whether somebody has scored 200 and above or 200 and below. The most important thing to us is that, look, we have done this examination. We will look at the parameters, the choices of this candidate. We look at the available spaces in the tertiary institution based on their preferences and see how we can match them. We send this result to the tertiary institution, and then they use it for the purpose of admission.
I don't understand. Okay. I'm not sure you answered the question.
No. Well, I think he has, but also the way that you've responded to me, for me, that's a red flag. And it's a red flag because I believe that Jamb, beyond what you've just explained also, should be able to use this examination for raising data, right? So we have data to show that a large percentage of Nigerian students that wrote these exams scored much lower than they've done in a very long time. And I believe that if Jamb is working with Nigerian parents and with students, it should be able to look at it as, you know, as like a significant, no, look at it as something to say there may be a problem somewhere. You know, there may be a problem either with the educational system, either with students and how they are writing Jamb. After all, Jamb has made several improvements over the years as well. So when there's the numbers are showing like this, Jamb should be able to wonder at least if the changes or improvements or whatever it is they've done is affecting how children are writing their exams. So it's not just to say, well, we've done our own and then everybody should leave.
For me, to check your ability.
Yes, for me, we're all in this together. Yeah. You know, so Jamb shouldn't hold off itself as well. We've done our part. You figure out the rest yourself. everything, as you've said before, is to be done holistically. And if that is what you mean, then definitely you provide data that would, you know, be important in how we look at how children perform in Jamb, especially if in this period we're wondering if their abilities, you know, have been truly reflected in the numbers that Jamb has given them.
Well, let me make this thing very clear. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board was established by the universities. It was not even a creation of government. It was the university that came together then when the numbers were increasing and felt that, look, let us have a body that will regulate the process of admission to ensure that we don't have multiple admission. The basic reasons for the establishment of Jamb was to eliminate multiple admission and to ensure that the few spaces that are available are properly utilized. And that explains why, if you look at the name, Joint Admissions and Matriculation, if the framers of the board had examination in mind, the examination would have been fused into the name to be part of the name. Examination only became a vehicle because there is no any other process that you can give this candidate a fair and level playing ground for everybody to compete. If tomorrow we wake up and we have enough spaces for especially the highly subscribed programs, we will not even be conducting any examination again. Examination is just a vehicle for us to ensure that even that candidate who in the final analysis is not admitted, at least he or she is satisfied that, look, I am not admitted not because somebody is taller than me or not because somebody is highly placed than me, but because I could not measure up to the person that is admitted.
So Dr.
I don't want us to place more emphasis. Yes.
Dr. Fabian, let me pause you for a second. Let me let Nima come in here.
I think that's purpose of, you know, just admissions and has already been defeated, because if you say that the same institutions that put together this board have started doing what is called UTME. So they now start to grade the students on their own. And so examination is what Jamb is now known for. Do you in any way, what Miriam is saying is that, you know, gather the data that you get every year from the performances and partner institutions like Mr. Onye's institution or other, mostly secondary schools, because we're looking at people who are trying to get first degrees into the institutions that put together Jamb as a board and give them feedback on things to improve upon. Are supposed to just conducting exams.
Moving on.
The performances of the students who are partaking in these exams part time should be, you know, observed, and improvement should be done. Things should be eased out. You know, new innovation should be brought in. What are you doing with that data?
Well, sorry, I didn't get what you have said clearly. But I heard you talk about
post-UTME is now being done by the institutions that put together Jamb.
Very good.
It's joint admissions and matriculation.
And let me explain. Let me explain that. If you look at in the last 8 years, you will notice that even the institutions that are conducting the number of institutions conducting post-UTME has dropped significantly. We have less than 10% of the institutions conducting post-UTME now, and the reason being that there is high correlation between the examination we conduct and the performance of the candidate when they are admitted. But that is not even the issue. There is no system anywhere in the world where the tertiary institution does not have a say in who they admit. Naturally, the University of Polytechnic will also do a level of screening to be sure that they are satisfied with whoever they are taking in. The screening could be academic, it could be moral, it could be social, and whatever it is. You cannot say for whatever reason that a university, a polytechnic, or a college of education should not have a hand completely in whoever they admit.
That is not the
because in the final analysis, what the science candidate graduates.
Can you listen? Let me put it again. That's not what we are saying. So let me tell you, we know that post-UTME means that your Jamb score, your WAEC results, as well as another exam usually conducted by the institutions. That's what post-UTME cumulatively gets. So you can have a 300 and something in your Jamb, but if you don't get 99 or something in your post-UTME result, an institution can decline your admission. So we are saying that those bodies that put Jamb together are already doing another kind of assessment for the candidates they want to admit. What is Jamb doing with the data of the performances of their subscribers every year?
If you had heard me clearly, I laid a foundation. I told you that one of the basic reasons when this same institution you are talking about established Jamb was to ensure that, one, there are no multiple admission. Two, there is fairness and equity in the conduct of admission. I told you this in clearly. The fact that they are doing post-UTME does not mean that the essence of the establishment of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board is defeated. No, it is only a second layer of check to say, let us also have an input in whoever comes to us. It does not in any way say that we are losing confidence in whatever you are doing. Not at all. Ask any vice chancellor today, ask any provost today, ask any rector of tertiary institution today, he will tell you that, look, the establishment of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has enhanced the performance, has enhanced the conduct of admission, has engendered equity and fairness in the process of selection of the resources that we call admission.
Okay, let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still having this conversation on the results from Jamb. I'll let our guest jump because you've heard quite a bit from Dr. Fabian. What are your response to what he said? I was also going to ask you, maybe we need to remind ourselves the consequences, because if Jamb comes out today and says tomorrow that we've looked at our systems, there was no glitch, here are the results. How is that going to look like for these youngsters?
Yes, thank you so much. So the first question, the first question I want to ask is very simple. Jamb has admitted that there is speculative issues, as they want to put it. But at the back end, they have admitted that there is a very big issue, right? I want a clear time frame. Are we going to get a feedback in the next week, or in the next 2 weeks, or in the next month? Let it be that there's something that students are expecting, because that will help them a lot. Secondly, after their investigation, are they going to make the findings public? Thirdly, the students need the mark sheet regardless. They need the mark sheet so that they can be able to look at these things. Even if there are areas that they have gaps, it will help them to be able to prepare for the next year. And the best form of investigation is public investigation. If you give the students the mark sheet publicly, they will do a lot of work as you are also doing your work. That will be the most transparent method.
Okay, let's see. Dr. Fabian, you got those 3 questions, right? Time frame.
Well, I don't think he's in a position to determine the time frame of what we are doing. We don't have any. Hello, can you hear me?
Very clearly.
We interact with our candidate. We have what we call a ticketing platform. And these candidates have lined up their complaints on the ticketing platform, and we have responded to them. And I've said it clearly. You see, we have a nation that we are working to build. We must also appear to be very serious with what we are doing. I have told you that a committee has been put together. We have expanded stakeholders from all manner of group that we feel that have the intellectual capacity to deal with the issue at stake. And I am sitting there in the studio. How would you expect me to tell you that in the next 1 hour or 30 minutes, you will have results? They are there working. I am here. I have not had an insight.
Dr. Fabian, if you don't know the response, you can say, we don't know.
Yet.
Or I can go back and confirm. Because, sir, I will use that word holistically again. The people writing these exams are not just numbers. They are human beings. They are children. They are children of parents. Some parents who have been... Sir, please, let me just finish. Just let me finish and then you can respond. I'm sorry, sir.
We are parents.
So these people are coming from somewhere.
We are servants.
Dr.
So these children are coming, these are human, these are Nigerian students, sir.
Timelines.
So there are parents also waiting online. There are schools, sir. So what we're talking about right now, let me call it the human side, the human angle of this conversation is that there are many children waiting to find out what is the next step for them going forward. And they are hoping that Jamb, that the respect for their integrity and their fairness will look into their case and just make sure that, you know, the result is what it is. And then they'll know how to move forward. So, sir, I understand what you're saying, but the response I'm expecting is to also put in mind that we're talking about children here. We're talking of Nigerian human beings here that participated in these exams.
Yeah, in addition to that, Dr. Fabian, your responses so far to the questions does not necessarily inspire confidence. People are sitting back at home and waiting to hear from you today to know the way forward. What's the solution? Because if you say that 2 hours is not enough to tell how good a student is, I will now be asking myself, why do I now write Jamb in the first place? What's the essence of that examination if it cannot give me back what I'm giving to it? So we're asking that.
Let me say this. I've gotten your, let me say this very clearly. And I've made this point over and over. We are very, if you look at my statement, I made it clear. I said, we are very concerned. I don't think you are as concerned as we are, because there are a lot at stake here.
Okay.
And I must be very, very frank with you, that whatever I'm saying must be something that I can be hold responsible. I cannot, if I tell you that in the next 1 hour, but what I can tell you that I want you to take home from here is that we are going to reach out to the candidate within the shortest possible time. Within the shortest possible time. Let me say that again. But please and please, don't let me come and say something that I will not be able to explain tomorrow. When I mean shortest possible time, it could be less than 2 days. It could be within 1 week. Of course, we know how painful, how distressing some of these things could be, especially for some of these candidates, especially if at the end of the day, it is proved that, yes, there were actually glitches. Exactly. So, as servants of the people, of the nation, we will not sleep. We will go back to our drawing board. We will bring all these people across all over the country, including, if possible, from some of the neighboring African countries, to work on this thing and give Nigerians the best outcome from this particular investigation.
Okay.
Please and please, let us not drag this issue of timing. Give us the benefit of doubt. Trust in what we are saying. They are going to look into this issue critically. I know that the public, when it comes to government agency, there are these doubts and distrust and stuff like that. But over time, if I've gone back to history and look at our modus of operandis, you would have discovered that we've tried as much as possible to be very transparent, to be very trustworthy with Nigerians. And that explains why we bring all manner of people as stakeholders, civil society, the National Association of Nigerian Students and stuff like that. Take this home. The time frame is going to be as short as possible, even beyond what you yourself is imagining.
Okay, so I think there was one more question that we're yet to get concerning the provision of the marking scripts. Would that be eventually provided, do you think, or would you advise the board who is investigating to release the scripts to the students so that they can also have a copy? Is that possible? Publicly.
I have said that earlier. I said, in time past, we have had calls to release scripts to candidates. It's not a new thing. Okay. We are not. I don't know whether you are following this conversation as we have started. I have told you from the beginning that we will not be ashamed to admit that we are wrong. Okay. What that means is that we can do everything humanly possible. But for me, remedy, if there are problems, the most important thing is to address the problem. Okay. It's not to go back looking at what. If you look at the processes we pass to arrive at this script, I bet you, even if we give you this script, I'm not sure you'll be able to understand what has actually transpired. Okay. All right. Because you won't have the psychometric knowledge. You won't have the measurement expertise for you to questions, 250 questions over 400. And then how do we normalize and all those things? These are so many technical issues that it will take us time to tell you for the formula for you to understand this, but that is not the issue. Okay. I have told you that we are concerned and we will look into this thing critically, and I bet you before God and man, if there are areas that we have done something that is wrong, by way of maybe scoring, by way of matching responses with the answer, whatever it means, we will come out clearly to admit it within the shortest possible time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fabian. I'm going to let you go at this point because our viewers have heard you. Parents have heard you. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in. So I'd like you to just stick around just to hear if you've communicated to our parents. We're going to open our phone lines on your view so our Nigerians can call in to see if they're satisfied with the responses from Jamb. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Dr. Fabian, for joining us this morning.